quite understand everything about the situation, but it's definitely lots of talk about it.
Okay, I'm just gonna start from number 1 and go
Wait,
down. Oh, okay.
Are they ordered like most important at the top?
No, there's one.
Kind of random.
Where the list started.
I think you should start with.
Okay. Please go.
Hold on. And then if you talk early to memory, and then you go talk childhood. Those are kind of connected, right? Right?
Mhm. Okay.
So have you had any snow down there?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Well, we had the one big snow, maybe a week ago. We got maybe 3-4 inches, and then it all melted within about 2 days.
How big is snow?
I think like 3 to 4 inches.
Oh,
Did you guys get some up here?
Hmm?
Did you get some up here as well?
nothing really to talk about. The guy who delivered fuel oil for the house,
Mm-hmm.
in answer to my question, said that he understands it's going to be a wet and sloppy winter. Yeah. But nothing deep. Which is okay by me.
Right.
That's always annoying. This one works, but this one doesn't at the moment.
Okay.
But I think we'll be all right.
Great.
Okay.
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 So which number do you want to start with?
I'm gonna start with number 4.
Make sure you speak up, okay?
So this one. Okay. So would you wait? Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Number 3. I'm sorry.
3.
3. So share some of your earliest childhood memories. your earliest childhood memories.
The first childhood memory is looking out the porthole of a lake steamer that was going from Milwaukee to Ludington, Michigan. And the first thing I remember is looking through a round porthole. And on that same trip, I had a younger brother, a year and a half years younger, who thought he knew how to swim, but he didn't. And he was seen paddling underneath a pier by one of the other ladies who were living for the summer in their bungalows and whatnot. And I remember that woman running down to the pier and flopping in the water with a big long dress, and taking my kid brother out of the water and rolling him over a barrel, the old-fashioned way of getting the water out of your lungs, and he survived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that was on the same trip. I had a little wind-up steamboat. The screw went through the chimney, and you wound it up. And I put it in the water over the back of the boat, and I went down and looked at it, and it wasn't floating. It was going down to the bottom of the sea, and away went my little wind-up steamboat. Yeah. But basically, as a kid, I had a good time. Yeah.
Okay, and then now I'm going to go to number 7.
Number 7.
So,
Where did you grow up, and what was your childhood like? Well, we grew up in the suburb of Glencoe, which is north of where you live, south of where you live now. And I was the third. I had 2 brothers older than I, and then I came along, and then a younger brother and a younger sister. And we all grew up in the same house in Glencoe, which was it was a block and a half from the railroad station of the Chicago Northwestern that took many of the men who worked in the loop and whatnot would catch the trains down, and then they'd turn around and catch the train back in the evening. Yeah. But we walked to grade school. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 blocks, and we'd walk home for lunch. Then we'd walk back from lunch, and then spend the afternoon. But there were no school buses, no school lunches. If you wanted to go somewhere, you walked, which nobody seemed to care much about. Yeah. Yep, that was number 4.
that's number 7. So,
You said earliest childhood. No.
we just talked about number 7.
Where did you grow up?
And then now, I'm going to ask you about number 8.
Number 8. Did you like going to school? Yes and no. I like going to school, and I had a lot of fun at school, but I was a lousy student because I didn't study. Yeah. Spelling was a particularly tough subject. And there were several, we had 8 grades. We had kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd was 8. And I think I had to stay after to practice spelling in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But I had a good, as I said, I had a good time in school. I remember when we went out for what they call gym recreation, in a gravel playground. Gravel, mind you, not grass, gravel. And the instructor was telling everybody how if you can kick the ball up in the air. This is early soccer stuff, and you could trap it with your one foot against the other when it came down. And he was showing us how to do it, and he missed. And big mouth me laughed, and that upset him. Yeah, over there. So I had to stand underneath the tree while the rest of the kids had fun learning how to play soccer.
Right.
Yeah, that happy mouth of mine got me in trouble many different times. Nothing serious. Yeah, but when I was the pitcher on the 7th grade hardball team,
Okay.
and for laughing at that soccer maneuver, you aren't gonna pitch today. You're gonna go sit in the bench. It took me a long time to learn that. Yeah, but by and large, I enjoyed school, all but the studying. Yeah. Some people, my next older brother was a good student. The brother underneath me was also a good student. But I don't know about Virginia. She was 5 or 6 or 7 years younger, but she was probably a good student. But I wouldn't. It wasn't my fault. I was just too busy having a good time. Yeah.
Well, since you're talking about some sports in school, do you want to talk more about other sports that you were in school? Or...
Well, the only we had a so-called football league, and it went by weight. So in the seventh and 8th graders, nobody played football prior to 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But we went by weight. There was a 75-pound squad, a 90-pound squad, and a 115-pound squad.
Oh, wow.
So everybody was divided by weight, not by class,
Mm-hmm.
which is I guess was a little more fair.
I think so.
But we played tackle football without any equipment, and I don't remember people getting hurt, but I suppose they did.
Right.
Yeah. Then the only other sport we had that I recall was track. You don't need any equipment for that.
Right.
Yeah. So I ran the 50-yard dash. That seemed like a long way at the time, but 50 yards is not very far, is it? No, that was fun. But nothing any longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think those are the only sports we had in grade school.
Right.
Are we including high school here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, high school is something else.
Right.
We had a 4-year high school, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and as long as you're a freshman, sophomore, you competed against freshman, sophomore, and you couldn't go up and compete with the older people.
Mm-hmm.
But there I found out that I could run pretty fast, and I could run pretty long. And as a sophomore, I beat the guy who was a freshman runner the year before, and he was expected to win everything. But I beat him running around an indoor track, and we ran as far as 660 yards, which is a quarter and a half.
Mm-hmm.
A quarter and a half. And that was that then turned into a half a mile, a quarter of a mile, and a half a mile, and I don't think we didn't run. Yeah, we did too. In junior, senior, we ran a mile, and there was a mile run at the state level. Right. And when I was a senior, I represented Northern Illinois, in the mile run. I didn't do particularly well up against the whole state,
Mm-hmm.
but in northern Illinois, I came in first, so that tickled me, and that and a 10 cents got you a Coca-Cola. Yeah, yeah. No, I enjoyed that, and there. Well, you met a lot of you had a lot of friends. The people on the track team were friends with the other people on the other track teams, just like same as basketball and football and stuff. But I was as a senior in, I guess even a senior in high school, I was no, that would be a freshman in high school. I was 5'2" and 108 pounds. By the time I graduated from high school, I was maybe it was still 5 foot something, but 104 pounds. And when I came back from the Navy, which when I was 140 pounds, I stayed at around 140 pounds until I was something like 40. Yeah, well, I was 140 pounds and 5'4", a little kid. And all of a sudden I squirted up. Yeah, which you may or may not do. Your brother has squirted up. How old was he?
Yeah. Jesus, the last 2 years. So
Last 2 years.
14, 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. In terms of years that he grew a lot, though, he grew a lot. 14 when he was 14 and 15.
And how old are you now?
I'm 12.
12. Well, you have time. You got lots of time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. It's interesting to hear about the difference in sports from high school to younger. Do you remember what your mile time was?
Yeah. 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
Fast.
Well,
William just ran a 5:02.
The what?
A 5:02. William did.
Who did?
William.
Wayne, good.
Yeah, and he's a sophomore, so he's got 2 more years to run.
Well, good for him.
So.
But I think the difference between now and then
Yeah.
is that we didn't do any training. We had no training program, no coach that says, now today you're going to do this, and tomorrow you're going to do that.
Right.
Which is a big advantage that kids have today, and as a result, they're running a lot faster and farther.
Yeah.
I think it was somewhere around that time that the high school record for the country was say 4'15" or 4 foot, not 4 foot, but 4 minutes.
Right.
It was fast compared to the way we were running it. Yeah, after you trained and there's a program and all that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Big advantage.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to number 2.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Some important lessons in life. Well. Well, let's gather our thoughts for a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We can do parents. So like, or holidays.
Should we just skip that one then?
Well, not skip, but that's an important one, but it's a really big question that you could go a lot of directions with, and so it's kind of, it just takes an extra minute to,
We're talking about lessons in life that have nothing to do with academics. Maybe, yeah,
Yeah, they
sure.
could.
yeah. Well, I guess one of the things I found out is I could get good grades if I was in a subject that I enjoyed. Now a good student, I think, will get good grades whether he enjoys it or not. He's more likely to. And so when I got up into college even, and got into spherical trig and navigation with the sun and the stars and stuff, and found that there was a reason for it, then I did well.
Right.
But you got to learn to put the nose to the grindstone, whether you really want to or not, because there are a lot of things in almost every job that you do that isn't all peaches and cream, but you got to do it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a big, broad question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things like you must be honest. You can't say you're going to do one thing and do another.
Right.
Yeah.
And we can also kind of keep that question open, and if
Yeah.
something else comes
Yeah.
up later on, then that's fine too.
So if we move on, should we move on? Should we move on to a different question?
Should we move on to a new question?
Do I have a question?
No, do we want to do a new question?
Yeah, we'll hold this one open. Yeah.
So number 6.
Number 6. My parents. But my parents both grew up in a situation in which their father and mother were relatively financially well off until 1929, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out of the economic market, and my father went from being a partner in a organization that had 26 shoe stores down to no shoe stores.
Right.
And he got a job as a salesman, and my mother had never worked at all, and when the bottom fell out of the market, she still didn't work except bringing up 5 kids with hardly any money on hand.
Right.
So they went from being well off to hard times. But a lot of people went through that. A lot of people had it worse than my folks did because Dad had a job. And I knew several people as a little kid that their parents didn't have a job, and times were tough.
Do you remember the name? What was the name of the shoe store?
Cushman Kreider.
Okay.
You know, they were wholesale In other words, they go from the manufacturer to the shoe store, and then they ended up buying shoe stores. So they had both ends of that banana. Yeah. Is it the question?
So yeah, anything more about parents?
What was the number?
It
Yeah.
was number 6.
6.
6. Okay. Okay. The other thing that struck me about my parents is that my mother went to college. She went to Michigan State, and her father was in the education business in Chicago, and mother was having such a good time at Michigan State that he brought her home, and she ended up going to Northwestern in the School of Music, and then she had students. She taught music at the very low level. But father never went past high school. His father never went past high school.
Right.
Yeah. But you go out, you do what you have to do. I remember coming home from grade school. We walked past a grocery store, and they were unloading fruits, oranges and stuff like that. And they had wooden crates, and we'd get the wooden crates, and they were glad somebody took them away. The grocery store people were. And we went to the bakery where they broke them up, and they used those wooden crates to start tomorrow morning's fire for their ovens. Yeah. So we got day old bread that we traded it for their their ovens. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But we were poor as church mice, but I never felt that we were, because nobody acted like we were.
Right.
Except we had holes in our stockings. You had to take your shoes off to go into the high school, to the grade school gym. If you're gonna, because you scratch up the shiny wood floor.
Right.
So you take off your shoes, and whoops, got holes in my socks. Yeah. If I didn't take off my shoes, they wouldn't know it. But yeah, that was called embarrassing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
So number 5.
What are your
Okay.
favorite family holidays? I saw that on your earlier list, and I didn't think I had a favorite. Christmas was probably as close as any. In fact, I have see that hatchet down there. You can see the handle sticking out.
Yeah.
I got that at 12 years old.
Oh, really?
That one.
You know it?
Yeah. See, that's all. It's indestructible
Yeah.
because it's all apart. But this is all one piece. This got tangled up with somebody else. But it's the same hatchet. Christmas, I guess it would be the most. We had the ceremony of putting up the tree at night before Christmas, and we would come down and put on the presents for our parents, presents such as they were, My dad must have gotten 20 different neckties over the years. Because we didn't know what else to give him. Yeah. We used to think he ought to smoke a pipe, and we at one point gave him. He had more pipes than he didn't smoke pipes, but we gave him pipes anyway. Yeah. Yeah, and we sat around the piano, and mother could still play before arthritis got into her fingers, and she couldn't play anymore. Well, she also used to play the violin,
Oh,
but then she got too stiff and couldn't play the violin. Yeah, but Christmas was fun. Easter, no big deal there.
yeah.
What else? Birthdays, yeah, they're fine, but they didn't come up to Christmas, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was. What number were we on?
We were on number 5.
And Julie, these don't have to
Five.
just pertain to childhood
Yeah.
too, right? This could be, and talking about the holidays, that could be childhood, but could
Yeah.
also be, you know, as a father or grandfather. That's okay too. So, what we have next?
Okay. So
Oh, how about the jobs one? That's a good one.
yeah, sorry, I think. So number 10.
Number 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the one I was looking at. What jobs did you have when you were a teenager? We had mainly 2 different jobs depending on the time of year. One was mowing other people's lawns and working with doing the grunt work when somebody else saying, I want you to pick up that plant over there and put it over here. So we did that all summer long, and made 35 cents an hour.
Yeah.
Big deal. Back when I started going to college, I got a job at R.R. Donnelly printing on 22nd Street, and there we made the magnificent sum of $38 a week. Yeah, that's well, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I got on the train in Glencoe, and changed trains in Linden Avenue, Wilmette,
Mm-hmm.
and went to 22nd Street, Chicago, on the south side.
Okay.
And then did and worked the midnight shift, which is 12 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning, and half the time I went to sleep on the way back.
Right.
In fact, I remember reading Gone with the Wind on that train coming back, and I ended up with the same conductor most of the time.
Sure.
And he got so if I fell asleep, after working, he'd wake me up. One time I ended up in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, near where you probably get off now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely done that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that was hard work in that printing plant.
Right.
No air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing there? Was it like lifting?
I was assigned as the ink pail deliverer. Each small ink pail was worth I think 50 or 60 pounds, and for as big as I was, that was tough work.
Yeah.
And then I graduated to moving. How big is that? Something like 300 or 400 pounds of ink in barrels, but it was up on a metal a wooden frame,
Mm-hmm.
and you jockey that thing around so you had a lip, part of that a heavy barrel. So then you put the lip, you put the lip of a dolly down. It has two wheels like a wheelbarrow,
Yep.
and you tip it this way, and if you tip it just right, it rolls back over this way, and ends up on your dolly,
Hmm.
which is a metal thing. And then you push that thing around to the printing press, and if you did it wrong, the weight of that thing is liable to throw you across the floor.
Right.
Yeah, so you had to be careful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in summertime, we mowed the lawn, and in the fall raked the leaves and all that stuff, and in the winter we shoveled snow. There weren't any snow blowers except people. I don't remember. I don't know. There wasn't any mechanical snow blower like there is today.
Right.
I'm not even sure that there was any uh, as a part, of a small truck like you see. That was the plow on our truck was new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there was just a lot of grunt work. Yeah. I worked briefly in a grocery store, and I was supposed to line up all of the fruits and vegetables and whatnot, and I'd take a grape here, and a grape over here, and a grape over here, and on my first day, I ended up getting sick because I took too many grapes from over here and over here and over here. So one of the things I learned is that don't eat the grapes. Yeah.
There's a lesson there.
Yeah.
Where I forget. Where did you go to college?
Where's the house? The house?
Or the college?
Colorado College in Colorado Springs.
Oh.
The college when I went there had 800 students. Now it has something like 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's still pretty small.
but with 900 you ended up knowing almost everybody.
Right.
Not real well, but you knew they were college kids.
Yeah.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
What else you got?
Bottom part of.
Oh.
Well, you have a question here on sad or happy memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the saddest memory that I have had to do with a dog getting run over.
Oh.
They were right in front of the house,
Oh wow.
and right in front of us, and that was our favorite dog at the time. But he got run over by a car chasing something across the street.
Right.
In one summer, a kid who lived a block or so from us was playing in the water, and he disappeared, and in fact he ended up drowning, and I was the one who found him. We go out in this particular place because we used to play there. It's all over the submerged rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And I went down with feet first, to sink down, and I ended up stepping on it,
Oh wow.
but I didn't have much of any emotion.
Right.
He wasn't a particular friend of mine,
Right.
but I became involved, and he was only 10 years old or something. the lesson learned there is learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sad.
What happy?
Didn't have many sad. I don't remember sad memories. Probably should have, but I didn't.
That's fair.
I bet you don't have any sad memories, do you? No.
Not really.
No. Good. Keep it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Did I have a nickname? Yeah, at one point, my grandfather, my father's father, yeah, he was a gentleman farmer, and he lived in a big fancy estate out in Barrington. And there was a man by the name of, he was known as Axel, and he and his wife lived in a separate house from the big house.
Mm-hmm.
So he was Axel, and then we had nicknames for all the boys. Mine was Gus, and for no good reason, but there are a whole bunch of battalion names that my brother Kenneth would be able to recite for you. He knew the younger sister was called Dina for no particular reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was Gus.
Gus.
Yeah, Gus. How did you get a nickname? No idea. Does Emma still call you that? No, I don't think so. Most of the people I know aren't around anymore. There was a period of time when many of us had nicknames from Mexican names, like the Cisco Kid. Cisco, yeah, Cisco's still around. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. For no particular reason. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well. It's hard to tell you the most important people. I don't know where to start with that one.
Maybe just
The most important person in your life. The mother always comes in close to the top on that, I would think. Yeah. You see, we saw more of our mother than we did of our father because he was a traveling salesman. Or a soldier, yeah, or at least gone 8 or 10 hours a day, yeah. In those days, most mothers did not work except to take care of the kids and clean up the house, but they didn't have a separate job. You know, see, well, we'll let it go. Your childhood, I had a happy childhood, even though we were poor. Did you like going to school? No, I like to do the things that were fun. Got lousy grades, but I like to sing. I like to mess around in the plays, and all
The
that
plays?
all that active stuff. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
And Julie.
There were light operas from Gilbert and Sullivan, and I don't know if they do that anymore. But that was, are you familiar with Gilbert and Sullivan's operettas?
No.
No. Well, they took a lot of work, but they were a lot of fun. Were you active in plays at all?
I wasn't, but Julia is.
I do. I build the backgrounds.
Yeah.
She does
I
a
paint,
stage
do like all the
stage
painting
crew.
and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
The stage crew, or
Yep.
oh. Was Alex active in stage?
No, I don't think so. I don't think any of us were. Yeah. I was in band, and Alex and Tracy weren't. No.
What did you play?
Trumpet and
Trumpet.
baritone.
Do you still play it?
No.
No.
No. That was fun.
Hmm.
It was fun.
I think that's about all my questions.
I think, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Did we miss anything? Anything else that pops in your mind?
Let's see.
When we touched on important people, were any outside of your parents, were there any figures, any role models growing up?
Well, I guess there were some minor role models, like the track coach in high school, for example, was also a history teacher, and so he was not of much help in the on the track team,
Right.
but I thought he was a great guy. Yeah. He taught me how to pole vault.
Oh.
I went all the way up to, I think, 11 feet.
Wow.
And high school kids today go 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's equipment too, though.
Do I?
That's equipment too. I think
Oh,
poles
well,
are.
yeah, we had a bamboo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
What jobs did you have when you were a teenager? What did you do with the money?
Yeah, we didn't talk about the money. So we talked about jobs, but not what would you spend the money on for raking leaves or shoveling snow?
Well, we had when things were tough, we did not have any allowance from parents. Any spending money we had to earn.
Right.
Yeah.
And what would you do with it?
Well, as we got older, my $35 a week at the printing house helped put me through college.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think the college expense was something like $250 a semester.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed like a lot of money at the time, but today it's peanuts, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I remember that, sadly, that my oldest brother, with his side jobs and whatnot, had to surrender his $25 to mother because she needed money for groceries. That I don't dwell on it, but I remember he had worked for a number of months so he could go on a Sea Scout schooner that went across the lake over to St. Joe, Michigan, or someplace like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she needed it for the groceries, so
Right.
he gave it up. Yeah.
Oh, no. So he didn't get to go?
Hmm?
He didn't get to go?
He didn't get to go.
How about that?
Yeah. So not everything works out as you think.
Right.
But then he ended up joining the Merchant Marine. He was a naval flyer, and when the war ended, he went to what did they call that? Anyway, he ended up being one of the officers of a commercial ship.
Okay.
So he got to see plenty of water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his trip.
He got to see
after all.
plenty of water. Yeah. Well.
What did you study in college?
Girls.
Ladies.
I was supposed to be studying something or other in banking, business and banking. I don't think I learned much. But then the war came along, and all guys my age, most of them never even graduated.
Oh,
They had to go back after the war was over.
right.
Fortunately, I joined the Navy program that in effect said, you finish your college education at your expense, but when we won't take you until you do. But as soon as you graduate, they sent us to Columbia University as a potential naval officer. If you pass the first month, you were then a midshipman. If you didn't pass the first month, you were a seaman in the Navy.
Right.
Yeah. If you flunked the first month, you were pretty much of a dumbhead, because I don't know how you could not pass the first month.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
Beg pardon?
Wasn't too bad. What was the first month like?
Well, I thought it was the
Test.
first month was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that whole thing was easy. Yeah. The gunnery and the navigation, I'd already taken some of that stuff before
right.
I got there. Yeah.
That helped.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that sad and happy memories. To have one of your saddest memories being the death of a dog is kind of strange, but yeah.
So. Well, it was the traumatic way
Yeah.
that it had happened.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And I've seen other dogs. I saw a dog run over in that other house that we lived in Sturgeon Bay. Truck ran over. Oh my! And you could tell by looking in his eyes that he was gone.
Right.
Yeah. But he still had his eyes open. But I've never dwelt on that stuff. Do you have a nickname?
Not
you do.
really. Well, Jelly Bean.
What is it?
Mom and Dad call me Jelly Bean.
No,
Jelly bean.
Jelly Bean. Do you have a nickname?
Ben Bean, because your full name's Benzo Bean.
My sister Tracy calls me Benjo.
Banjo.
I don't know why exactly. She started calling me that when I was younger, and because it made me mad, it annoyed me. I didn't like
Yeah,
it. That's why it stuck.
That's why we continued calling my sister by that nickname, because she didn't like it.
Right.
Yeah,
Are you done?
just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything going on in the real world?
Well, do you want to hear about the weird world? I
Yeah.
talked to Jane McLaren.
Who?
Jane McLaren.
She did what?
I called her.
Oh, okay, then we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad.
Mm.
How many more questions do you have?
We've covered all of them.
Oh, you're just chit-chatting now. What- Can I join in that chit-chat or just listen in?
Sure.
Okay. There.
Well, we'll talk about Jane.
Oh, I'm not gonna talk about Jane.
Yeah.
Poor Jane, poor Jane.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Well, there's probably a lot more ground that can be covered, but
Right.
I don't know. The trouble with our age, most of the people we know aren't here anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going.
Yeah. Hmm?
They're gone.
Yeah.
Jane wanted to know if we were still going to church,
She wanted to know,
if we were still going to church.
and what did you tell her?
No.
No.
That upset her.
Well, I think the big news of today is that this here thing works. This one doesn't. So I'm gonna have to change. See, that's the exciting part of life.
Oh, one hearing aid works for you?
Yeah, one needs, I'm gonna have to change it.
Yeah, he does not like to wear his hearing aids.
Yeah.
He is not deaf, he's hard of hearing. That's what he
Well,
said.
the guy said that you've lost 20% of your capacity to hear. Nothing we can do about that.
Right.
The best we can do is sharpen up what you got left. So there,
Well, if you've
That's
lost
fair.
20, that means you have 80 left.
that's correct,
That's not bad.
yeah. And the difficulty is that in a lot of circumstances, everybody's talking at once.
Yeah.
And I can't sort it out.
That's not,
Yeah.
a lot of people that have fairly good hearing find it
Yeah.
difficult.
They
I
can't-
don't know what these people do in these noisy places they go
Really
into.
hard.
Yeah, and you can't carry on a decent conversation.
Well, there are a
I
lot
have
of,
nothing to say, maybe.
a lot of guys my age had their hearing damaged during the war because big explosions going virtually on their doorstep.
Right.
And other people had their hearing damaged because the machines they were assigned to, or
Yeah.
Or
It's
the-
continuous
the,
high. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
what's that, the machine that breaks up concrete?
Jackhammer.
A jackhammer,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there
For a
it
long time, nobody protected their hearing. In the paper mill, when somebody went around with a hearing testing device and said, these people need hearing protection, these don't need it, but this one over here does.
Yeah.
Of the type of machine, the high whine,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mhm. You don't get them with things like that. Your little magic picture, does that talk back to you?
is
Yeah.
that your smartphone?
Yeah.
We're out of touch with all that stuff. But I'm kind of glad I learned to read and write when I did. because they're not doing it today.
It's different. It's different. It's different.
I see writing from my grandchildren.
Mhm.
It's like
Right.
sixth grade writing.
Yeah.
They don't know how to write anymore.
We'll see. Well, Julia's gonna take this interview and turn it and write an essay.
Reflection, basically. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
We can
Yeah.
summarize it and then
compare it to mine.
and have thoughts about it.
Oh, okay.
So how long does it take you to go from your front door to this front door?
I would say maybe a little less than about 4 hours.
4.
Oh,
Maybe
really?
a little less.
4.
Because it's just an extra 40. It's like 45 minutes from our house to my mom's house, and it's about 3 hours from my mom's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
3 hours from Kenosha?
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
well,
I always thought Chicago was 3 hours from our,
no, you can't do it in 3 hours.
but like, we used to,
No.
I guess we were doing like 75 or something.
Who, me?
Huh?
Probably. Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
When we met people with Kohler, we met at Kohler.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
just about as far from your mom's house as it is from this house.
Yep.
And that was an hour and 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to meet
Yeah.
your mom for lunch.
And she's not in Chicago yet.
No.
Yeah.
No. That might be. I wonder if it's closer. Is it a little closer to Kenosha? Kohler than here?
Well, we had an hour and 50 minutes, but no, there wasn't anything in front of us.
Right.
But there's the city of Milwaukee in front of her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mhm.
See some traffic. Yeah, I liked. That's a good place to meet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
we used to have a good time.
Well,
The horse and plow.
The horse
Yeah.
and plow. Yeah, well, the other one, the dining room was rather sophisticated.
Oh, is it?
And I don't know that they were open for lunch anyway.
I don't think they are.
Yeah,
No.
we usually did lunch.
But here is a high-class restaurant, and they don't even warm the plates.
They don't warm the plates?
Yeah, they put warm eggs on a cold plate. Yeah, so
Do
pretty
you warm
soon
your plates?
you have you have cold eggs on a cold plate. Yeah.
Do you warm your plates that you're gonna serve dinner on, or doesn't work?
You mean like at home?
Yeah,
I would say normally no,
no, that isn't usually done.
but
He has to warm the
sometimes.
plates.
Yeah, I'll warm like if I am grilling something maybe and it's
Uh-huh.
cool out, I'll warm the plate before I put a bunch of meat on it so that it's warm and it stays warm by the table,
Yeah.
but not individual plates.
You warm it in the microwave.
No, so I'll probably put it like I have a rack inside the grill,
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's not it's not touching any flame or anything, but
It's
it's
just
up
keeping it
above
warm.
and it's really warm in there. And that
yeah.
heats it up real
He
fast.
is very touchy about cold plates.
Well, it only makes sense if the food is supposed to be
A certain
warm,
temperature, yeah,
then likewise the plate. Yeah.
should match.
Or yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He's
The
got some strong habits,
the
very strong habits about things. That's the way it is.
Right.
I don't know that his mom did that.
the cook on our minesweeper during the war fed us pancakes for 3 months without interruption.
Right.
And I saw him one time at a get together,
Kind of a reunion.
and I said, "Why in the world did you serve us pancakes for 3 months in a row?" And he said, "It was the only thing I knew how to cook, because I never went to cook school."
She- Oh my, oh my, oh my. So how are the rest of the kids?
Everyone's well. Everyone's doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, William is learning to drive.
Learning to drive.
He's learning to drive. He has his permit, and
Yeah.
so he is.
Who, William?
Is that his car out in
Yeah,
front?
a
Pretty
student
much.
driver.
Yeah.
We only have one car, so
It says student driver on it.
yeah.
Is
And I
that-
thought it was you, young lady.
I thought you had a van of some kind.
We used to have an SUV,
Yeah.
a GMC, but we got rid of it a few years ago.
No? So that's your only car?
Yep, just a little Subaru.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yep.
well, so many people
It
have
works. Gwen
SUVs
just
today.
drops me off at the train station at Highland Park in the morning, and I'd take the train in, like you were saying.
What do you do if it's raining cats and dogs?
If it's raining,
Yeah,
same.
just
I
get
think-
wet, huh?
It's not, well, I mean, the only time I would really get wet is walking when I get into the city,
Yeah.
walking from the train station to my building. And then I've got my umbrella and my rubber boots. And
Sure.
What building do you work in?
it's called the Franklin, but it's right next to the Sears Tower.
Right next to the,
Sears Tower. So it's on Monroe and Franklin. It's pretty close to the Madison
you
Street
worked for a
station.
while in Milwaukee? A month?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did you think of Milwaukee?
I love Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I love Milwaukee.
You worked there as a bartender, didn't
Yep.
you?
I lived, we lived there for, Julia was born in Milwaukee.
Oh, you're a Wisconsinite.
Yeah. Yeah, I bartended downtown Milwaukee at a couple different places.
A
and
couple,
I
okay.
went to, UW
Yeah,
Milwaukee. And then,
I like Milwaukee. They too have their problems today because of the type of cultures we're involved in.
yeah,
They've got their problems. They never used to have that.
right.
But my granddaughter, Mary, well, she works in Chicago, but she deals.
Well, she worked for Miller, the Miller Corporation. I don't know what the official name is anymore.
Yeah, Miller Coors.
Yeah,
Yeah, and she is a
actuary.
actuary
Oh.
for them.
Hmm.
Isn't that kind of interesting?
Yeah, I didn't know they had actually.
Any more?
Or I mean, no, they definitely have them. They're more. I was thinking of more of insurance.
Well, probably it has something to do with it.
but
Well,
She's an
calculating.
actuary.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
It
lots.
has to do with pricing too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, shall we hold the price now and drop it over here, or vice versa?
right.
yeah.
Because none of these retail prices remain the same.
No.
No.
Oh, and location.
Well, she did
location.
that,
Yeah.
and she even ended up going to Bucharest.
Yeah, that wasn't with Miller though.
No, that was with another, with that
A strange
that
outfit.
man and his
Yeah.
wife had this thing, and she was the actuary.
That was a
Yeah.
strange employment
Mm-hmm.
for an American educated in America to talk about pricing in Hungary.
Right.
Yeah, what in the world does the American know about pricing in Hungary? I don't know.
Hopefully the mechanics behind it
Are the same.
have some similarities.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do. How to make money.
Right.
You
That's the
you enjoy your job?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm learning a lot. I am working on projects in some restaurants.
Restaurants.
Yeah. So I have like several, but one of the main focuses for me is restaurants. So basically, we are selling shares of equity, in our clients.
Okay.
So
There was a piece in today's Wall Street that Ford Motor Company is stopping, bringing to a halt a promotion they had on a particular make of automobile because it didn't produce as it was projected to produce.
right.
Yeah.
Do you get the Wall
Did you
Street
get
Journal?
involved? Would you get involved in stuff like that?
No, not directly. So that's more internal, strategy within Ford,
Yeah.
for example.
Mhm.
Whereas Ford might come to our bank to say, hey, we want to acquire a auto parts manufacturer in, Chicago, for example, could be anywhere in the country or world, doesn't matter, but, help us buy this company. And then we would come in and do the analysis, figure out how much this company is worth, figure out how do we approach this company,
Yeah,
because that could be a sensitive topic if it's not for sale, or is it for sale?
Yeah.
Nothing's really ever for sale, but things are, so.
Do you get the Wall Street Journal?
Yes.
Yeah,
I have it in the car.
Yeah, I think they're pretty fair
Mhm.
in how they analyze things. I don't think that they are like the Green
Well.
Papers
Yeah, I don't think there's a strong point of view behind it,
well,
other than kind of like an adherence to
That-
business principles,
Oh,
and
it
kind
has a
of
far different
economics.
point of view than the Green Bay Press Gazette does.
Right.
the
Yeah,
Green
right.
Bay, they
Yeah.
admit they don't edit anything, and it's quite obvious. They can't even spell.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, they're terrible.
Where do you eat lunch when you're working?
Usually a small group of us will just walk a block or two to, there's probably 20 different kind of it's called fast casual now. I mean,
Oh, it's fast casual.
casual they call it, but,
How far are you from the loop as such?
I'm in it.
You're
She's
in
in
it.
Mhm.
135 south to Sal is not very far from you?
No, not far at all.
Yeah,
I'm at
okay.
115 South Franklin, so
Yeah,
that's 2
okay.
blocks from where I am.
Yeah, okay. So you have a fairly short walk from the train station?
Yeah, it's only like three or 4 blocks.
That's good.
It's
Yeah.
nice. I like riding the train.
Yeah.
It's
You don't?
quiet. I do.
Oh, yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's
They're fun.
quiet
They're
and
fun.
it's smooth and
Kingston.
get a good seat.
Yours is not a steam engine, is it?
No, it's just a regular,
A
locomotive.
diesel electric?
Yeah.
Okay.
The L is still electric, but the
The elevator,
CTA,
yeah.
that doesn't come up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That stops at Linden.
You like?
That stops at Linden,
Mhm.
the L. The Metro goes all the way to Kenosha.
It used to.
It does.
Oh, it still does, and it used to go to Racine.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, and then they can't, well, yeah, it's
Who's that?
Probably not enough
There.
traffic.
Who?
Racine. The L used to go all the way to Racine.
Yeah.
And it turned around, I saw the turnaround, with
You talking about the North Shore? Or the
L.
L when I was a kid would stop at Linden Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And north of that was the North Shore line, which was an electric train, and then there was
maybe
the South Shore
Maybe it
line.
is the North Shore
Yeah.
I'm thinking
I
of.
think
The North Shore line is
North
now
Shore.
out of business, but the South Shore still runs, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, to
Yeah.
Indiana.
yeah, the North Shore stopped running, and that was hard on a lot of the kids who used it, who were at the university.
Mm.
Maybe they were going to the University of Chicago or something, and that was convenient.
Okay.
They don't do that, or Northwestern.
Well, I don't know how close that electric line goes to University of Chicago.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Those things changed. So did you get your work all done?
as best we could.
You
As
definitely,
best you
you
could.
definitely did all the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. Shall I keep this as a souvenir?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think we'd like that.
Do you like going to school?
What did he say? What did he say?
Yes and no.
He liked the fun in school, but he didn't like the study. When I talked to him about school, he wasn't crazy about going to, well, maybe it depends on what level of school it was then.
We touched on.
Sunday school.
Yeah.
Because did he tell you why he ended up in Colorado?
No, I was actually going to ask that.
Will you tell him?
How you ended up in Colorado?
At Colorado College?
the girl I was going with at the time, talked me into the college put on a shebang of some kind to invite prospective students and their parents to come to this meeting room down Chicago, where they gave you a big line of steam about the school and whatnot.
Right.
And I didn't know anything about it, but I went with her, and they gave me a half scholarship because I could run faster than a lot of people, and that's where going with the stage stuff and some of the stuff that activities that have nothing to do with academics.
Right.
Yeah. So I pulled the wool over their eyes.
Yeah, but then she dumped you.
Yeah, well, yeah. 2 months after 2 months after we got there, she dumped me.
Oh, no.
I should answer that. That was one of the sad memories of my life, but it wasn't. So
Right.
say, well, la di
It
da.
worked out.
It worked
Yeah.
out.
Well, that's what he studied. I was asked what he studied in college, and the first thing he said was girls. So
Oh, yeah.
newly single.
Now, did you drive up here today?
So no. So we stayed at Sarah's
Oh,
last night.
okay. I wondered about that. If you just
Yep.
drove up and were to drive home again.
We're gonna go back this early afternoon.
Yeah.
Um,
It's getting there pretty
yeah,
quick.
yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
And because Julia has a bar mitzvah to go to
Yeah.
at 7, so we have lots of bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs.
Yeah, well, now, bar mitzvah is for the boys, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Mhm.
Yeah, and the bar mitzvah
Yeah.
is for the girls.
Yeah.
That's what we call. Yeah, bar
Julia's already been to dance class for social dance, right?
Social dance, yeah.
They call it, it's dancing class for bar mitzvahs, basically. They don't call it that, but that's what it is.
And the
Because they do it the year
school-
before the big season, because
Yeah.
everyone in her grade, everybody in 7th grade
Are,
is getting them right, having their parties right now.
oh, really?
So she'll go
There's a lot of,
Majority the-
where do you live down there?
in Highland Park.
Oh, Highland Park.
Right, we're in Highland Park right now.
But-
Okay,
But we go to Deerfield School Districts.
Yeah, so we go to Deerfield School.
okay.
So how long do you have to wear braces?
Till the end of 8th grade, I believe.
The end of
So a year and a half,
8th grade.
another year and a half.
how long have you had them?
Since 6th grade.
6th grade.
So 6 to 8, 2 years, huh?
Well, like 1 and a half.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like halfway down.
Yeah.
Like halfway down.
Oh,
And I'm getting
Everybody in the family I grew up with had braces, except me.
yeah, why didn't you get
You know,
braces?
they ran out of money. I mean,
Oh.
it's very simple
Oh,
arithmetic.
okay, that was just, oh,
Very simple arithmetic. Yeah.
that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay, these guys gotta go, so,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I know that. I did want to visit with them for a bit.
Well, one big development